If you've ever wondered what Kinderwhore or Riot Girl music sounds like once it grew up, it survived the 90s and all of those goth clubs and has now entered an age in which it can speak about what it experienced. This is the song that defines it all. Today I'm reacting to City Noise by Scarling, and Scarling is a band that created from the minds of the band Jack Off Jill from the 90s, and they were definitely, I would say, a Kinderwhore band, a little bit Riot Girl, but with a little more makeup. This song captures the emotional static of like a 1990s goth club in a way that I have never heard a song do. Every time I hear this song, it takes me back to the 90s. You know, when you're a baby bat and all that social drama really mattered, and going to a club wasn't just a place to dance, but there was also all of this society going on there, all of these cliques, all of these awkward moments, all of these tears and laughs and all these experiences that happen that are part of, you know, what shapes turning into adult by having relationships and experiences with people. And a lot of those people are people that you meet at goth clubs, at least if you're in that scene. And if you've never heard the word Kinderwhore before, I'm going to break that down for you in a little bit and why this music considers itself post-kinderwhore. Because I'm talking about musicians who grew up in bands in that era and then have now elevated to something else, and that's where Scarling comes in. So hello everyone, I am Sage. I am an elder goth and a music lover. I also used to play in bands in the 90s, so to tell you music is my life is an understatement. I did a little short recently about what I consider post-kinderwhore bands, where I talk about a few bands like The Start or the Lunatics, as well as this band, Scarling, as being very defining bands for a very specific era around the late 90s to the early Y2K, where goth girls grew up. So before we get into the song and Scarling, let's give a little bit of an origin story. So Scarling is basically a grown-up, gorgeous, emotionally devastating version of an art project by Jessicka from the maker of Jack Off Jill from the 90s. And if you're not familiar with Jack Off Jill, imagine like Riot Girl, goth, trauma, lipstick, and just wild energy getting into a bar fight. Like, that's the energy. They were part of that mid-90s Florida to LA band movement where everybody was either in a band, dating a band, breaking up a band, or maybe setting a band on fire. It was a lot of personal dramas going on between a lot of bands at that era. And that whole Kinderwhore look, baby doll dresses, smeared makeup, childlike innocence turned into something confrontational, that really defined that era and the music that was going on. And Jack Off Jill really encapsulated that whole idea. So when Jessicka formed Scarling years later, it still had that same emotional DNA, but I swear it has a little bit more of a more sophisticated feel to it. It's definitely grown up, but more like a shoegaze cathedral or like a little bit more of an intellectual art gallery. It's got this something that to me really speaks to me, and maybe it's just I was at the perfect age and era for that type of music, but either way, Scarling got me. And Scarling is really like that. I've been destroyed by the world, and here's the soundtrack for it. But City Noise fits so perfectly in this timeline because it really reminds me too of going to clubs in the 90s and just the feeling of that energy that you have when you're in your 20s. So without further ado, let's get into the reaction. I'm going to play the songs and also put the lyrics on the screen so you can read along and see if like any of these words, like, you know, have any charge for you or remind you of anything that, you know, I guess that's the beauty of lyrics, is that they can kind of like, you can put them into any sort of context that really relates to you. I've always, you know, it's funny, I talk about bands that I enjoy that don't have any lyrics at all, like Dead Can Dance, the Cocteau Twins, but then I also do enjoy like listening to lyrics and really enveloping them into my own experiences. So Maybe I'm putting my own experiences on this and you're going to be like, well, I don't see what you're talking about. But maybe you can relate, and maybe there's something about these lyrics that relate back to experiences you've had. And I'm dying to know if that happens. So let me know in the comments. All right, so this is City Noise by Scarling. And let's enjoy it together. The way it comes in. Really loud. Her voice. The drums, everything about this song is I bet you've never heard this at a dance club though, huh? But would you? That guitar. I love the simple tone on the vocals. Usually like goth vocals. Oh, chorus. You feel that energy, that kinderwhore energy? Guitar. So good. Ah. Drums. And then they're gonna pull it back again.
Deep depression, the calm before the storm, the shaking in your head. How you sacrificed, how you paid the price, all the words you wish you had.
They throw it and then they bring it down.
It's the lost of emotions, drinking to forget. It's written in the snow. It's the anxious fear, purging your last meal. It's the secret that you can't know. And we try.
Different little modulation in the guitar. Ooh, that little. Ah. This part just takes me back to that era. Again. So good. I can't get it. Every time that guitar comes in, I'll be like, there it is. But yeah. She's more screamy in Jack Off Jill. This one's definitely more angsty. Mwah. Beautiful. So there it is. That's the song, City Noise. Okay. I love that song so much. It just really hits the spot. So let's just talk a little bit about those lyrics, and let me tell you. Tell me, did it spark any memories for you about like nightclub life? Because to me, it just is talking about it full speed. They open with another crowded dance floor, another empty glass, another failed hello. And that reminds me of like once you get past that point of like going to the clubs and being excited every single time, like who knows what could happen. It's like almost like, well, fuck, like how many like people who am I not friends with here anymore? How much drama has happened last week? Here I am, another crowded dance floor, another empty glass because I'm just drinking to try to make myself excited about being out and about, and another failed hello because, you know, at this point, socializing is getting awkward. It's your alibi, another splendid lie. It's the bruises that you can't show. I mean, that's about everything you carry into the club, all your personal drama that you walk in with, and all the things inside of you that you're bringing with you when you go anywhere. All the stuff that we buried under our platforms and our black lipstick that only your best friend knew about, that kind of stuff. It's the violent reaction, the mixtape in your heart. Mixtape in your heart. And so like 90s, before Spotify, we actually made mixtapes for people, and they defined our lives a lot of times. I remember a specific mixtape I had that just like, I don't even think I meant to put the songs in order, but whatever order they were in became like the emotional meaning to it. And then the line, the face you make when I go. That could mean anything. But the kind of tragic desperation in the song kind of makes me think it's not making me feel so good as I'm walking away. It's that push and pull of late night relationships that only exist out at the club. We tried to change the city noise that made us strange. That lyric to me just really defines going to clubs, being 19 years old and feeling like being at the goth club was the only place where you felt normal. That the noises outside, that's what made us weird. But inside the club, that's where we were normal. We set the stage, but we cannot engage. I mean, perfect 90s lyric right there. And it's true, because in a lot of ways, goths are kind of socially awkward. So we can dress it up and make it look amazing. But once we walk into the room, it might get a little awkward. Just like the whole, or, you know, maybe you're like a little bit of a shyer person at the club too. So you set the stage, you look great, you're out there, but maybe you're a little bit of a wallflower, and that's okay, because that's what's part of being weird at the club is. Another deep depression, the calm before the storm, the shaking in your head. You know, I mean, in a lot of ways, clubbing was therapy for people who were depressed, and that was where you would go and have a moment of happiness. Or I also think of calm before the storm of like, maybe you have some drama you have to go rectify that night at the goth club that happened a week ago with somebody that you haven't seen since. So you're like, oh, here we go. I got to go out tonight and solve this personal situation. You know, isn't it interesting? When did goth clubbing become less about dancing and more about social drama? I'm sure like everybody has their own limit on where their line is of like, I'm more of going there to dance, or I'm more going there to start drama. Which one are you? Leave it in the comments. Anyway, the last couple lines of the last verse. Drinking to forget names within the snow. I mean, that's breakups, reunions, regret, all melting like snow in your morning memory bank. It's the anxious feel purging your last meal, and we've all talked about our 90s thin culture issues, so that one definitely speaks to me as well. I mean, there were honestly so many of us that were struggling with body issues back in the day, so definitely Scarling's little hints at that hit a lot of us in the heart. And then we go back to the chorus and we've discussed how that goes. So tell me, do those lyrics speak to you about like 90s clubbing or clubbing now? I'm dying to know. So let me know if that meant anything to you. If you want more deep dives into kinderwhore bands, goth culture, check out my channel. I have a lot of little videos that kind of go down these streams of musical thought. And subscribe for more because I keep going on. So I appreciate you coming by. Enjoy Scarling, and I will see you on the dance floor.